This wasn't what I told you that I remembered what I was thinking of
Yeah.
last week. This wasn't it.
Well, as a pressy for next week, or just so we don't forget it, what was the question?
The
Or
thing that I
topic?
was thinking of, well, I wanted to talk a little bit about race and gang violence, because, and that wasn't what I was thinking of last week. That was just the consequence of witnessing this shooting outside my house. Because I'm concerned by uh, there's a big movement on the internet that thinks that political correctness is ruining everything, and have abandoned liberal pursuits for traditionalism because they think that the liberals can't acknowledge basic truths. Um, and I wanted to address how some thoughts about like making stereotypes about like black people being violent or whatever um, often don't come from a place of accuracy and real uh, honest assessment of the world, but rather come from other places. Like prejudice is one place, but just fear and a desire for quick, easy answers is
Yeah.
another place. And how just because that idea pops into your head, it's popped into everyone's head, and it doesn't make you an evil person, but here's why it's wrong, and here's how you can determine that it's not coming from a place of accuracy. I think that acknowledging those kind of um, thoughts which lead to stereotyping later would help people not just say, oh, well, I guess I'm a racist then, and then
Yeah.
drift into this realm
Yeah.
of more legitimate racism. I think that this would keep the normal people from saying, well, there's only one place that accepts me for having these thoughts at all, and then getting swept up in like true Nazism or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about that. Maybe we
Wow.
can talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really wanted to talk about, or the thing that I wanted to talk about last week, and maybe it'll end up being related, was whether the justice system should be punitive or not. Punitive meaning punishing, as opposed to, say, rehabilitating. And whether it's better to be cruel in order to, like, even if it doesn't get better outcomes, like we have the death penalty, right? Let's say that somebody kills two people, so that can't be satisfied by their own death. That doesn't wipe away the debt, so they clearly owe another entire life in terms of tit for tat. So when we execute this person, should we torture them before we execute them? You know, is that the right thing to do? Does is that an optimal justice system? Or if the answer is no, and really all we care about is separating this person from society so that they can't harm us anymore, then would it be right to banish them instead of executing them? Like if we had this comic book like portal into another dimension where you kick somebody through and they're gone forever, would that be a better alternative to executing somebody for murder? Because all we want to do is separate them from society, and anything beyond that is just cruelty and will never be more cruel than necessary. That was what I set out to talk about, but then we got sidetracked, which is fine.
It was a good sidetrack.
But next week, the questions will be, which is better for liberty and happiness, a more punitive justice system or a more rehabilitative justice system, assuming that rehabilitation leads to less crime in the future. Which the evidence suggests that it does. And B,
Neo-Nazis.
we should address how to handle, I'd call them racist thoughts, but really people just need to have a more neutral understanding of what racism is, or understand that racism is when you think that they're not people.
Right.
Not
creating
when
categories that make unpolitically correct thoughts okay, but like also educating people to not be politically correct.
I really super don't care about political correctness.
Okay.
I've never felt influenced by it at all. But what I want is to, A, get people to recognize when are stereotypes racist, meaning like hostile and dehumanizing, versus when are they just, that's what the data suggests, and when also are they just, that's not even what the data suggests, that's coming from a different place of fear or ignorance or whatever. And how to handle those, how to recognize which one of those it is and what to do then, to try to get people to not go into this, not swing all the way the other way and turn into these raging identitarians, because they feel all oppressed because they can't openly share the mild stereotypical thought that they had, where they feel like they can't, even though there's really nothing holding them back.
Yeah.
That was another thing that I thought with this gunfire outside my window, is this recognition of, like, there really are no rules, you know? There's really, like, I could do anything. Yeah. I could do literally anything. There's no walls. There's nothing stopping me from doing anything.
Yeah.
And in some ways that's terrifying, and in other ways it's kind of freeing.